from today, I will be 15 years more stupid because I would have popped my head to death instead of getting kicked in my butt when I behave the wrong way on this physical world. Because people are the one who have to taught me. They have taught me to line up. They have taught me my limitation and when I'm off course. So when you look at it, if you escape reality and you go into nirvana, you are not on this dense physical world. And what you can do instead is to attract or deal with low entities. Let me put it this way. I don't know if you heard of David Icke. Maybe Icke, I don't know if I'm still his friend the way I wrote about him, but many years ago, he asked me to do a reading for him. And I told him, David, the tail of the dragon is moving in your subconscious, and that's why you want to remove yourself, and you want to go to the Isle of Isle, I don't know, some of this remote island, which is typical Neptunian, and write a book. The next thing you know, he comes back and he starts to talk about the Queen of England, Obama, turning into a lizard. So that is an early stage of dementia, which is probably produced by the subconscious receiving the tail of the dragon. And anytime you have this affliction, it makes people undergo a full restructure of their subconscious. And if you don't have the right solid information, now imagination's going to key in. And if you happen to smoke pot on the side, which is pretty much what a lot of people do nowadays to escape reality and cool down, I will see it through the stars, then you are not serving society in a logical, practical, beneficial way. I want to stay as far as I can from drugs. As a matter of fact, I'm 61 years old, and I never, ever touch any form of drug. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't enjoy my glass of wine. I would not enjoy a beer when I take my boat to the lake. Don't get me wrong. It is still a form of Neptunian energy, but it's very remote. I never, ever have touched hardcore drugs or pot in my entire life, and it's maybe why I'm lucid and I keep my sanity all along.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, Free Spirit. Thank you, Dr. Turi. We just have one more question before we have a quick 2-minute break. Louis, some people state that the controllers or Illuminati try to transfer their karma to the masses or us by showing them what they intend to do, similar to how a vampire requires its victim to invite them into their house. Acceptance, either consciously or subconsciously, seems to be the key. Do you think karma works this way? And if so, how do we stop them from giving us negative karma?
Okay, now first of all, you have to be very, very cautious. When I mention loud and clear, even in Coast to Coast with George Norrie, not to feed evil, that's because people can only present their realities through their UCI, their experience, their education, their intelligence. So if you happen yourself to be sensitive to any form of negativity, you're going to sign up for any form of conspiracy. And right there, you're going to become a participant of feeding evil and mishandling the superconscious in time and space. This is so crucial that people understand not to allow anyone to insert any fears. Now, this does not take away the reality of conspiracy, sad enough. Conspiracy has always been there. And, for example, you want to talk about karma. Oh, my gosh. The young couple, the young royal couple that wed today, they sign a contract with the universe against the laws of the universe. They got married in a waning moon, which is the last thing you do when you sign any form of contract. That tells you how much the royalties have established enough cosmic consciousness to behave in such a stupid way. So that is already a dead end for the couple. It's like literally planting a potato in the middle of December. in the middle of a freezing temperature. But again, that's my explanation for those who cannot understand what I'm trying to say. Now, on top of that, both of these royal figure were also born with the tail of the dragon, which is extraordinarily negative, in Capricorn. And England is ruled by Capricorn, and that's why English people never die, and that's why the true gift and legacy of the British is their aptitude for political science and politics. Once upon a time, they were running this country. So what I'm trying to say is, talking about karma, all the damage, all the abuse that the British hierarchy has imposed upon India, upon other countries, and Africa, the rape that took place during so many years with those two new royal family waiting today, they've signed up the end of the English high society.
Which, Dr. Turi, I believe you mentioned previously that you see something possibly March in 2012 with the royal family. Is that right?
Well, knowing that, again, that those two children, I call them kids, because they are kids with no cosmic consciousness and no awareness of the universal laws of the moon, knowing that they married against God's will, against the laws of the cosmic code, and knowing that they both born with the tail of the dragon in Capricorn, it will create a chain of very negative events in the UK. And again, I'm into the future, so all you have is the memory of that show, that discussion, and the future will, because I know my turf, prove me right. Now we just have to wait and see.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Turi. What we'll do is we'll just have a quick 2-minute break, and then we'll catch up again.
You bet.
Okay, you're with the Webbot Forum, and we're interviewing Dr. Louis Turi at drturi.com. Okay, the next set of questions is in regards to UFOs and aliens. And the first question is from myself, Jules. Louis, you stated on previous shows that you were abducted by tall, giant, blonde-haired humans, very much like Nordics. Many researchers believe there are many different types of aliens as well as humanoids. Perhaps they are our long-lost cousins that visit us. Do you feel that these Nordics are here to help us or control us, or both?
Well, in my case, they certainly... Well, if I tell you what happened to me, maybe you can be the judge and answer your own question. My gosh, in one of my trips back from England, I arrived. It was a Sunday. I recall that very well. And I arrived home, and my sister was not there, and I was quite upset not to see her. And my mom said, "Oh, she's gone to work." I said, "Sunday." She goes, "Yeah, she takes the bus, and she has to drive to a job lost in the mountain." And anyway, and that was it. Then she came back, and she was crying, and she was upset because she missed the bus. Of course, there was no accident. So my mom says, "Don't worry, Louis is going to take you there." So here we go. Let's cut the story short. It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm totally exhausted. Noel, my sister, is asleep, and I'm trying to keep this car on the road in the mountain, and it's icy and it's cold. I'm desperate for a cup of coffee, very, very worried about falling asleep. And then the road dipped down into a valley, and I saw some light in there. I said, oh my gosh, finally some human life. So I parked my car, and I recall very well there was absolutely nobody on that little thing here. I was kind of wondering, how come this place is 4:30 in the morning is open? I mean, it's not like America where you have McDonald's, open 24/7 here, you know. So that was kind of but I didn't dwell too much on that. I woke my sister up, and I asked her if she, what she wanted to drink when we arrived at the bar. And again, it was freezing cold, so I would never forget her answer when she asked me to get her a Coca-Cola. Women. Anyway, so I said, "You sit here by the door, and I'll be right there." I went straight to the bar, and as I walked towards the bar, I saw those 3 huge guys. Oh my gosh, they were so big, they could make a football player look like a child. They were so enormous. Anyway, to the point where my face standing up at the bar, my face was at the belts of this guy. I have to tell you how big they were. And they were like looking in front of them, like motionless, faceless. I don't know if they were, I was, what the hell is these guys? And I thought, I hope they have good intention because, I may be very protective of my older sister, but if they had bad intention, I'd be in trouble because they're so big. I thought they were loggers, guys that work in the mountain. Anyway, so I asked for a Coca-Cola and I brought that to my sister and waiting for my coffee. Then one of them, the one I was close to, turned around and he looked down and I look up and I see this big, huge monster guy. He looked at me and he says, do you want to play cards? I look at him and I thought, I'm very tired. I'm here to, find my way and direction and have a cup of coffee. And then he says, do you want to play cards? And then, like if I could not refuse, and I thought, well, might as well go and play with him because who knows, maybe he's drunk or something. So I said, okay, well, let's play cards. He says to me, you're gonna be friends with cards for the rest of your life. I can't even play poker to this day when I go to Las Vegas. The only cards I play, he was right, is the tarot, and each hand is a winner as far as I'm concerned. So he got this card, and he asked me to pick up a card. So I pick up the card, and as soon as my eyes are set on the card, he tells me what the card is. Then I look at him. He does this a couple times, and I look at him, and I say, "Well, that's interesting." And he says, "Yes, it is interesting. Take another one, and take another one." Like he forced me till I challenged him in my mind. I said, "What the hell this guy wants?" Then I said, "That's a stupid game." Then he looked at me and he goes, and I never told him my name. He says, "Louis, this is not a stupid game." And then he says, "Pick a card." Oh my gosh, right there I was freaking out. So I pick up a card, okay, and I thought, I didn't tell him anything, I thought, I'm going to change the 9 of diamond for the queen of spade. And then he looked at me and he says, "No, Louis, you are not going to change the 9 of diamond for the queen of spade." Oh my God. At that very moment, I put my hand on the side of the bar. I was trying to keep my balance. It felt like someone was sticking a screwdriver from one side of my temple to the other. So I asked the barman, "Where is the bathroom, please?" And the bathroom was just right there, and the door was open. So I managed to get there, and I felt I had like a chain in my head connecting me with this guy. And I put some really cold water on my face because I thought I was going to pass out. And I was talking to this guy. I was talking in my head to this guy, saying, "What the hell? Who are you? What are you doing to me?" And the tiger in me came up and said, "I don't care how big you are going to freaking, excuse my French, tell me what the hell you're doing to me." And it didn't take too long to put some water in my face. Maybe 5 seconds. That's the maximum time I stayed in that little bathroom. I didn't even shut the door behind me. I went right back into the restaurant. I went and I looked. These 3 guys were gone. So I look at the barman and I said, "Where are they?" He says, "Who?" "Those guys." "Oh, but they just left." I said, "Okay." So I look at my sister, and she was still sleeping on the sides. And I went outside. I took all the strength I had left in me and tried to hold on to that terrible headache. And then I listened and I looked left and right, and I didn't see anything. And it was still a bit dark. Don't get me wrong. So I went back in and I said to the guy, "Who are those guys?" And he said to me, "I don't know. They just came before you. You must have seen their car." I said, "There was no car there. I can assure you there was no car." I don't remember from that moment. The only thing I remember is I didn't even know if I paid the guy. I just remember to grab my sister and tell her, "Let's get out of here right now." And the next thing I remember is the next day, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm driving back home. Now, where have I been? I don't remember taking my sister to the hospital where she used to work. I don't remember driving in or out. I just wake up at the entrance of my little village back home the